Please don't even call back. I don't need your love. I got my life on track. Think I've seen enough. I put down the thumbtack.
What's going on, everyone? It is another episode of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, episode 69. A couple days ago, we just hit a year, so I want to thank you guys for the year of listening, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the content so far. On this week's episode, I brought on my classmate, Emile, Tracy. We're both a part of the Radio Arts and Entertainment program at BCIT. So this week's episode, we talked the past week of the NHL. It was a heavy Canucks episode, so lots of Canucks content. We kind of go through a therapy session pretty much, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. And we also preview our predictions for the Team Canada and Team USA Olympic rosters. Both give our forwards, defensemen, and goalies. So it is a very, very good episode this week. A little bit of a hot take, though, for the Team USA. I didn't put Jack Campbell, and that is a goalie I should have kind of thought of more with the way he's been playing. But other than that, I think we both had solid rosters, so be sure to tune in and listen to the rest of the episode to hear that. But as for this, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Left Side Heavy. You can catch full episodes and YouTube clips there. And be sure to follow the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at leftsideheavy_. Be sure to leave a rating on Apple Podcasts to help grow the show. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. And here is Emile, Tracy. It's episode 69 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by Blue Wire Hustle. I'm your host, Jevin Lefebvre. You can follow me on Instagram at jevin.lefebvre, on Twitter at Jevin Lefebvre. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at leftsideheavy_. Be sure to head to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Left Side Heavy, catch clips of the podcast and full episodes of the podcast. Today, I'm welcoming on fellow classmate now in the Radio Arts and Entertainment program at BCIT.
Yes.
Emile Tracy. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing? Just keeping up with school and stuff. You know how it is.
Oh, buddy, I know.
We can relate to that in some way, right? So
for sure. What got you into radio?
I mean, I don't know, man. I just love sports, and I've just been working since I got out of high school, graduated, and was going around. I worked at the airport, worked at the ferry terminal. I like doing it and stuff, but I just found I have such a passion for hockey and sports and NBA and all that kind of stuff, and I love talking about it. So might as well study something I love, and this is where we are now, right? We're on this journey together now.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, I was the same way. I liked my brother-in-laws, my sister's fiance, my friends, like we all like talking about it.
Yeah.
And I took a part-time sports broadcasting class last year, and it was
Brian, right?
Yeah, it was with Brian. It was like one day a week.
Yeah.
It was all online for like 3 months, and I was like, hey, this is fire. Like we had guests on every single week from like Sportsnet, and it was just sweet. And I talked with Brian after a class once, and I asked him about it. I'm like, what do I got to do further? Because this is fun. And he's like, well, there's a couple programs. You have like two to choose from, like online journalism and broadcasting, or the Radio Arts and Entertainment one, which I teach in. I'm like, okay, like I'll look into it. And all the programs was like, it was fire. Like it was like, so cool.
Even just looking, like when I was looking for something in like what I wanted to get into, when I went to BCIT and saw the Radio Arts and Entertainment, literally the video they show you on their page is like a guy from Sportsnet talking, and he's like, you have to take this course, it's great, it'll get you in the field. And I was like, this is kind of what I want to get into. So it was like perfect motivation for me to just sign up and do it, and it's where we are now, right?
Exactly. And yeah, because he said Dan Murphy from Sportsnet, he took Radio Arts. There's a few people on like News 1130 who took Radio Arts, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just do this. And then you know Caroline Cameron from Sportsnet?
No, but I'll look her up now. But
yeah, she's like one of the hosts. And
yeah. She's the one who does like Hockey Night in Canada stuff now, right?
Yeah, and she was a guest on one of our classes, and she said like what you got to do to like help yourself is just to practice, whether that's a podcast and a YouTube channel, watching the game and doing it yourself. And as soon as she said that, that's when I ordered my first set of mics and started this. And I started it that night with my buddy.
That's sweet.
And set it up, and we're off and running. And yeah, so it's kind of a cool thing. But yeah,
you just said you're on almost 70, episode 70 now, almost 69.
Yeah, I have 70 recorded, and that's going up on Friday.
So,
but yeah, we're like
that's a good amount of episodes already, man. So
I just realized I'm a year in.
So
2 days ago. That's 2 days ago, I hit a year. I just realized that it came up on me. I knew it was coming up. I just didn't realize. Yeah, 2 days ago, we hit a year.
So let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. But you keep up with NHL. What
sure do.
When did you first start watching hockey, the NHL, and like getting into it?
Oh, dude, I remember when I was like 5 years old, like just watching the NHL. You know, you're playing with your mini sticks, you're watching the game with your dad, and you're just watching it. I mean, I didn't really understand everything that was going on, obviously, right? All the analytics and all the statistics behind it, but just watching the game. I started skating when I was like 4 years old, so I've been around hockey all my life. So it's just something that it's built into me now, you know. So it's so hard for me not to watch it, especially now that we have a team. I mean, the Canucks. We could talk about that later, but just being able to have a team, a hometown team to watch, and it's just great, you know.
No, I'm the same way. I played soccer when I was like 6, and then I always laugh whenever I tell a story, but it was like a really cold and rainy day.
Yeah.
And like right after my soccer game got, I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to play this anymore. Like this sucks. Like I hate this.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad, like I just don't want to play anymore. He's like, okay, like do you want to play any other thing? And I'm like, I want to try hockey. And like I just went into another cold sport, like where it's
at least it's controlled, right?
Yeah. I know what to expect now. Where soccer, it's like I wake up and whatever it is, I'm like,
yeah.
But no, yeah, I just went to lessons and I just started skating when I was 7. I was terrible. And then I just like I was hooked on it ever since.
Oh yeah. Dude, also just like after playing hockey and then like you're done my midget career or whatever, like my junior, whatever you want to say, like it's so sad looking back at like hockey memories and stuff now. It's like you got beer league obviously now that you can play, but like minor hockey is just it's such a blessing, dude. You don't realize it when you're playing, but
I know
after it's done you're like, wow, like I really miss this. Like
no, that's such a good point. And just watching it, it's like I need to get back on.
I know it's so fun, man. So fun.
So this season overall of the NHL, I feel like there's been some players that have been surprising us, some teams that have surprised us, some teams that have disappointed us. We are kind of going through that right now.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts going into the season and up to this point? Has it changed? Has it lived up to your thoughts going into it, or has it?
I'd say it's very different, to be honest with you, from what I was thinking, especially since I'm a Canucks first guy, but I'm a Habs fan because my dad's from Quebec, right? So watching that miracle run almost where they went to the finals last year against Tampa, I was like, wow, this team looks unreal. Like actually, they didn't look bad. They beat Vegas. They beat some tough teams, right? They swept the Jets. They beat the Maple Leafs in 7, and I was like, this is a good team. And then this year they're off to such a bad start. Like Caulfield got sent down to the minors. Like who expected that? People were saying that guy was going to be like rookie of the year this year and stuff again. So it's just tough to put. And also the Canucks too. Like I thought with all the moves they made in the summer, like they were going to be able to kind of start off on a good foot, and it's been a bit tough, but it's all, you watch guys like Edmonton. Those guys are just so quick. Avalanche. I feel like the game's changed. It's all it's so fast. Like you watch these guys, and it's like McDavid, like the 2 goals he scored this year, but just the way he plays the game,
it's unbelievable.
It's the game's changing. It's because it's just so fast paced. Like defensemen, you can't be slow anymore. You can't.
No.
If you have a slow defenseman, like, I mean, we can see that with the Canucks right now. Like, you got to have quick defensemen because these forwards are coming at you full speed ahead.
Yeah.
And I feel like Montreal, I mean, these are teams that I watch, but Montreal Canucks are paying the price for having a bit of a slower decor, not as young of a decor as you'd want. You know what I mean?
No, that's exactly it.
So yeah, that's how I see the league's just changing. But I mean, look at Vegas right now. They made that big change with Jack Eichel, and they're now starting to roll. And you can only imagine when Jack Eichel joins that group, like what they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, man. So like,
It almost like the Jack Eichel trade sparked something.
oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
because Vegas, I'm not really blaming them for anything. My perspective on them hasn't changed with
No,
where they're at
no,
because they've like the injuries that they've gotten. I mean, like Marchessault now's on IR. Carlson's out for like a couple of months with a broken foot. Stone was injured. Pacioretty's injured. Like
yeah,
they've just been plagued with injuries.
yeah.
And it's just super tough. And obviously the Eichel trade is massive, but I mean they traded Tuck
He's a big
and
part of their. I
who
would say
is
he's a huge part when they make it into the playoffs. He's a
yeah,
huge guy in the
yeah,
playoffs for them.
exactly. So they trade him. They don't wait till Jack Eichel's healthy to send him off. Like he's gone right away. So they're
Yeah,
already down like Eichel and Tuck as
and
well.
talk. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
they don't have him anymore. So it's just been a weird year for them.
Yeah,
But I mean, I still think they're the best team in the Pacific.
yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah,
But no, like this year, like going into it, I thought there was a few chalk teams that were like taking some divisions. Like I just thought like a lot of the teams would live up to their hype.
yeah. Well, this
But
start to the season's been weird. Like just the
yeah,
start of it. It's like
exactly.
there's been a lot of like unbeaten teams, a couple of them, and then there's some teams that can barely squeeze by a regulation win, and it's like.
Yeah.
But they're still there, right? Like Montreal literally made it to the finals last year and they're dead last almost, right? And it's like, what happened? But it's just injuries. Like, I mean, you got to admit, like, they lost their leadership group throughout the summer, right? Like, Carey Price and Shea Weber, like, he might not even play ever again. So it's like, that could take a huge hit to the team, but it's like, look at Vegas. They got a bunch of guys injured. I mean, Pacioretty's their guy, right? Stone's their guy, and they don't have him, but they're still competing right now. So you just got to find a way.
Yeah, it's tough because that just like sucks the air out of the room when you don't have those guys in, and that plays a huge part into a team's success. Is just like not having your guys there. But so Price is set to come back soon because
hopefully,
just the players assistant program that he was missing time with, but it was also he was like suffering from injuries like with his knee and stuff.
Oh yeah.
How much of a difference does he play once he returns, assuming he's fully healthy?
I mean, what does that do to a team, right? When you have the guy that you can rely on almost every game, right? Like he's the guy for them. Montreal, it's Carey Price. Like when you think of Montreal Canadiens, there's no other guy. I mean, there's other guys that obviously score them goals and stuff. There's guys like Josh Anderson, Nick Suzuki, and stuff like that. But the guy for that team is Carey Price. And I would even say the second guy on that team would be Shea Weber, and he's gone. So it's like, what do you do? That's a huge hit to your locker room. And we know, because we've played, the locker room is probably the biggest part of it, right? If you have a bad locker room, you're not going to be able to gel on the ice, and there's going to be nothing there for anyone to, like bounce back off of or any kind of like brotherhood. And you need that. So it's like, obviously with those guys missing, there's a little bit of a leadership.
Yeah.
I feel like Gallagher's got to step up a bit.
No, yeah, I agree.
He's like their second guy. And I'd say Ben Sherratt is a good defenseman for them, but he's also got to pick up the leadership. But no one's going to be captain until Carey Price comes back. That's just the way it is. But when he comes back, their team will have some readjusting to do because they've been playing a couple of games without him, obviously, right? Like a decent amount of games, right? So they'll have to come back to themselves and be like, okay, we got our guy back. But it's also, how is Carey Price going to be when he comes back, right? Is he going to be the same guy?
Yeah.
Like, who knows, right?
Because last season, he was struggling in the regular season, and then obviously we saw his playoff performance. It would have been the most like unanimous
easily
Conn Smythe award in NHL history.
Oh my God, yeah.
If Montreal won. But you got to wonder if like that knee was kind of taken into effect during his regular season. Like you never know you never know when he injured that. And for missing Weber and Price,
Like those are huge names, man. Those are guys that played in the 2010 Olympic team. Like they won the gold. Like those are huge names still. Like
Weber, you see, because he's hurt. He's probably with the team, like either whenever they're playing home games or when he's traveling with them. You just never know. Like if he's in the dressing room, he can still be there and like either giving pregame speeches or whatever. But when you're missing him on the bench, that's when a team mostly needs him.
Oh yeah,
to pick up a player's like morale between shifts. He's
just a workhorse though, man.
Yeah. So when you're missing that leadership in game, it's huge to a team who like needs a pick me up, whether it's during a timeout or anything, because a coach can only do so much. I feel like at that point, like Weber just like kick rocks, coach, like whatever. I'll take it from here. Players listen more because he's also playing an impact on the ice as well.
Well, he's been there too. Like he's not. It's not like he's new to the league. Like he's experienced all this stuff before.
Exactly.
And it was so tough though watching him and Price not being able to win the cup last year because they were so close, man.
I know, man.
It was dude. It's okay though, but it's tough to watch.
Very tough. The Canucks,
man. Good game on Friday.
Good game on Friday. We got the win in regulation. It was regulation
3-2.
Regulation 3-2. I went to the game versus Dallas.
That's the game they won?
And boy, that was a fun game. That was a fun game. We beat them 6-3. We scored like 3 power play goals.
Oh, right. That was the game. They're on fire. They're on fire. Yeah.
It was a great game to go to. And that game was almost seemed like, okay, we're taking a step in the right direction now. We finally got the ball rolling. And then I think they went on a 5-game skid. So,
oh my God, let's see how they did.
So that might be on me a little bit, but what were your expectations going into the season for the Canucks?
Well, what are they every year, man? Like we make moves and then, you expect something, but you can't expect it right away, obviously, right? You can't expect them to be the best team in the league right away. They need to gel as a team. And that's what I think is playing a big part in their success right now is just how many guys they're missing from, like years before and just like the new guys having to kind of almost create a culture, dude. Like they have kind of a task at hand, all these guys got to find a way to gel together and it's not easy. But I'd say that they've had good signs of life. Like last night, man, like that was not a bad game.
No, it wasn't.
Like if we were like in a 500 season, like that's a loss that you're like, man, like that's all right. But now we've been losing too many games. It's like, we got to get that win. We have to get a win like that.
When you get 40 shots on net, you need to find a way to put it.
Oh my God. How many posts, man? 5 posts last night? 5 posts. And then we had like, there was a couple shifts like that Puck goes in like Pedersen Garland line like that.
That one shift was probably the best of the season, I think.
When I was watching that shift, I was like, how do they not score, man? Like
they had so many chances. They had like 3-4 chances just to score alone.
Fleury's just diving all over the ice, man. And it's Fleury, right? Like he's getting older, but he's still Fleury, right? He's got his luck. He's got his luck.
Talking about Fleury, and we'll like quickly go back to the Canucks, but one quick thing. He was on, like, he started the season like
poorly, man.
Like he didn't win. I think he was part of an overtime loss in the first 7 starts, but he didn't get a win. I think he was like 0-6-1 in his first.
Jeez.
Like he was bad. And to bring it to fantasy, he was my first goalie picked.
Oh my goodness, eh?
But I kept with it. I'm like, he's gonna pick it up soon.
The good fantasy players know to never, you just gotta let it play out. Let it play out a bit.
I'm like, it's early. There's a lot of hockey to play.
Absolutely.
And I think ever since they fired their coach, things just turned around for him and even the Blackhawks in general. Like they've just been playing better. And I think Fleury's 4 straight wins, including the shutout. Like he's been playing a lot better now.
That was a big shutout yesterday too. Like that's a great shutout. That's like you said, 40 plus shots, I think, right? Like that's a lot of shots to take in a game, like that's a big shutout for Fleury. And you know what? They might start rolling now, but the Blackhawks, they're just a great team, but they just had a bad start to the season as well, right?
Yeah.
Like they can relate to the Canucks in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think Canucks and Blackhawks, you can kind of put them in the same category as just like disappointing teams, but like good on paper.
oh, for sure.
But yeah, the Canucks, what do they need to, obviously this kind of an obvious question, but what do we need to do to kind of get ourselves back in the right direction? Because there's a lot of things that need to happen, but like
there's just effort all around, like just PK, power play. I think some guys just need to start performing to their fullest like ability.
Yeah.
Because there's so much talent on this team, man. Like when you actually look at it, like we got some guys that like can play hockey, like 125%, like can play day in and day out. But I think it's just, we got to find we got to put the puzzle pieces together and figure out a way where we can gel a couple wins in a row, like 2, 3, 4 wins in a row, and just kind of start rolling a bit. And I think that just starts with a spark. There needs to be some sort of spark. I don't know if it's, we need to get a guy who can fight, because we don't really have that on our team, man. Like that's one.
We lost McEwen and Gadjevich to waivers, and those are two guys who can step in and fight and play physical. But for some reason, we decided to sign Chase on for some dumb reason and let go of McEwen, who's like
Chase on like
$200,000 more expensive. But letting go of McEwen was the dumbest thing this organization's done in the past couple of years, because
I completely agree with you.
He's never gonna cost more than like $1 million. Like he's just not that type of player.
He's a go-to fourth line guy. You can even play third line minutes if you need him.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's tough. He is tough.
He's the only guy who would step in and fight someone and like if someone were to hit, like last year, Forbert, when he like ragdolled Hoglander for no reason. Next game, McEwen, when he first saw Horbert, dropped the gloves and beat the ever living crap out of him. Yeah.
Well, dude, like when we played Philly, McEwen fought, like, who did he fight on our team? I forgot who it was.
Luke Shen.
Yeah, he fought Shen, and then he's like fired up.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just pretty much just a big middle finger to the Canucks bench saying like, you got rid of me. Look at me now.
Yeah. Like, it was one of the dumbest things that this team has done.
Because we need guys like that, because we have.
Exactly.
What if a guy goes out and just, a couple of nights ago when Hughes got leveled by some guy from Colorado and he takes a dumb penalty, instead of taking a penalty like that, we could have had a guy actually take care of business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of Hughes having to defend himself and break his stick over this guy's shoulders. Like, it's not what they do after that. They scored a power play goal, and that's how we lost the game, in my opinion. Like, it was 2-1, and then we took some stupid discipline penalties, and that's the way it is, right?
Yeah, Canucks need some edge, and we had some of it, but we cut him.
Think about the years when we were doing good, man. We had guys like Kevin Bieksa, Ryan Kessler, guys that can
Lapierre,
Rafi Torres.
Yeah.
We had guys that can, they can play hockey, but if you're gonna screw around with one of our top guys, like, you're not gonna get away with it. And I feel like a lot of teams nowadays think that they can get away with it now. And that's why Pettersson, that's why Besser, that's why these guys are struggling, man. Is because like even Hughes, Hughes is playing all right, but like I've seen him play better.
Yeah.
I've seen him play better. So it's like, I don't know if the game's a little bit faster now and these guys are getting to the puck quicker and they're getting checked off the puck, but they need to find a way to just, stand their ground. You have to.
Yeah. My dad explained it perfectly. And this was like right at the start of the season. And I was like, they'll pick it up. Like, don't worry. My dad said, he was like, this team's just too easy to play against.
Yeah.
Like they're just an easy game. And I was like, they'll pick it up. But like when you watch them, our penalty kill and forechecking is very passive. We have no pushback. We have no fighters on our team. We're all speed and skill, but even our skill isn't performed because teams can afford to be aggressive with us because they know no one's going to push back.
Well, who's gonna do anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need a guy.
Larson. Like, no.
He was the guy that came in that one time though, and it's like he's not the guy. Jim Benning didn't bring him in this year so he could do this stuff. Like, he's a skilled guy. Like,
Horvat's our tough guy. Like, when was he ever our tough guy? Like,
I would say the only guy that can really fight, and he reminds me of Kessler, but is JT Miller. He's the only guy that could really do anything. But even him, we can't afford for him to be in the box.
I know.
He's our PK guy and he's our PP guy. Like we
Yeah.
can't. He's not the guy that needs to be in the box. We need a guy that can go out there and handle business if we need it, but can also play.
No, it's a good point, and my dad raised it very well, and he hit the nail on the head. And I'm like, watching this team, I'm like, yeah, like we can't get into the zone on a power play, which is like step one to having a good power play. We needed to have offensive zone time, or else there is no power play if we're just constantly chasing back for the puck.
Yeah,
we are like our penalty kill isn't aggressive. We have no forechecking. Because hate all you want, but Jay Beagle provide good penalty killing and good forechecking.
Well, like even just get in front of shot lanes, right? Like we need guys that can do that. Jay Beagle could do that, but like I think back to like when I was talking about BX to Kessler, who did that big time? Yannick Hansen, man.
Yeah,
like, that guy would just get in front of any shot, and he was our peak penalty kill guy. But we don't have a guy like Lamico, really. Yeah,
like, I never heard of him until that Levy trade. Like I didn't know he was a player in the NHL.
I'll be real with you, me neither, man. And I'm like, he's our fourth line guy, and he's big, but he can't do any. Like he's not a fighter. He doesn't. We need a guy that specifically can handle business, and we don't. That's why teams, like your dad says, puts it right nail on the head. Yeah. Easy team to play against. They look at our roster before the game and they say, "Who's stopping us today from just absolutely hammering Quinn Hughes in the corner? Who's stopping us?"
Yeah,
no one. Myers?
Maybe, but even Myers doesn't do shit, and he's like
he needs 6'8".
Yeah, he needs to take advantage of his height more.
You should be able to. Like he's almost Chara's size, dude.
Yeah,
and he should be able to, ragdoll some guys, but he can barely skate circles. Like it's tough to watch sometimes, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as to what this team's doing.
But I love our skill, I love our skill, how we kind of focused on, like, we need guys that can, shoot the puck, move the puck quick. But as a playoff team, as a deep team, you need guys that know their role.
Yeah.
And I feel like some guys on our team just go out there and try to score, even though that's not really what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. No, right? I agree. Who needs to go first? Benning or Green?
Oh man, Benning. In my opinion.
In
my opinion, I think there's so much a coach can do in this position, right? Like your guys, I understand you're as a job, as a coach, you're supposed to, motivate your guys. You're supposed to win games. You're supposed to come up with all this. But it's like Jim Benning's the guy that's giving you all these guys, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he's the guy that's chosen to go out and get Ekman Larson, get Garland, who actually they played pretty good. Not gonna lie,
they've been playing okay. Yeah,
they like I enjoy watching Garland because he's a workhorse. He works pretty hard. He
might be my favorent player on the team
right now. At this point, like him and Höglander right now are playing great hockey in my opinion. Yeah. Like they've been playing their parts. But
I think
even Ekman Larson, man, when I went to the game on Friday, he scored a pretty nice PP goal, man.
That was a snipe.
It's a good goal, right? Like it's like this is what Ekman Larson came here to do, right? Score on the power play, score goals, and he's kind of a good offensive defenseman. The thing I don't understand though is why Benning picked him up. I'm a little bit confused because Hughes and Ekman Larson are very similar.
Yeah.
And I've kind of come to notice that, like they're quick defensemen. They're not big though, and they don't have a lot of strength, but they're skill guys. But you don't really need two of those on your D, like to be your D core, like those two guys. Like it's a bit weird.
No, I agree. I think like my thing is Arizona may have. I'm almost guessing that Benning inquired about Garland. And then they're like, we'll give you Garland, but take OEL too.
For all you guys.
Take his contract off our hands.
Yeah. And
we'll retain some of this.
He's getting paid big bucks, man.
He's getting paid $7 million by us, but his contract's $8.25. So Arizona's retaining $1.25 million of the remaining years of his contract. off each year. So we're paying him $7 million a year. But we got Garland below market value. And
he's been big time, low-key.
Yeah.
Man.
And honestly, Garland, out of anyone in the NHL, now that I've watched Garland more, I play exactly like him. He reminds me a lot how I play.
Just a huge nose for the puck, man. Like you want the puck.
Like I'm a slippery player. I'm kind of like a pest, kind of behind the scenes. Like I always start shit.
Yeah.
And I'm small. Like I'm a short guy. But no, I like the addition of Garland.
You need a guy. The thing is, you need a guy like Garland on your team. You do. He's a good piece to the puzzle for our team. He's a good piece.
Yeah.
Look at him yesterday when it was like 6-on-5 or 6-on-4 at the end of the game when he had his little stick near the net. He's just trying to get in there. He's just trying to just in case a puck gets there, Yeah. He's right near the net and he's just digging for it, right? And it's like he's a small guy. He's just behind the net and he's working. And I like to see it. He's engaged. We need everyone engaged.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a couple games this year where I'm looking at Pettersson, man, and I'm like, how is this guy getting paid this much a year? How?
Yeah.
Because he looks like he doesn't want to be out there, man.
My hope is that Pettersson is in the same position that Nylander was when he waited for his contract. Mind you, it wasn't as long as Nylander. Like I think Nylander waited till around now, like November-ish, to sign his contract, and he sucked for the remainder of the year. Like a lot of people were saying he's not worth it, whatever.
Look at him now, though.
But Nylander playing probably like the best Maple Leaf this year. He's been the most consistent.
Oh, yeah.
So my hope is that it's that situation. He's coming off like wrist injuries. Like I don't think he got surgery, but he went through like a wrist injury over the off season and he missed training camp. So my hope is that it's something like that.
Where he just used to get his legs back under him a bit. Like
I almost want to I know it's not the right mindset to have, but almost just call this season like a wash. Like he's probably not going to be the Pettersson that we think he is. But next year, if he's anything like he is right now, then it's a huge red flag, and it's.
Oh my God, dude! If he, like the thing is, like he waited to sign that contract, right? And like he didn't go to training camp, like you said, where I think he really should have. I think like him going to training camp after coming back from an injury would have been really beneficial for the entire team because he hadn't played for a while. Yeah. Right. Like he played how many games last year? Not a lot. Right. And then he was gone like in what, like December around? I don't know. I don't really quite remember, but it would have been nice for him to gel with the team before, like he signed. And I don't know, like I hope maybe he flips a switch and just realizes that he needs to play better. Like it's just that. Like he's getting paid and he needs to play better. Besser, he's played all right. He's had some unlucky games.
He's hit a lot of posts this year too.
A lot of posts. You can tell they're like second guessing themselves a lot though.
Yeah.
Like shooting an extra pass where you don't need to. Like you're right near the net. You should just shoot it.
Yeah.
Where normally you'd see Besser if he was in the slot, he's teeing that up, man. But like he'll go for that extra pass, and it's like Besser, man. Like, where's his confidence?
No, I think he needs to he probably gets the most shots blocked in the league. Like he takes too much time with it, finds a lane, and shoots it right into his shin pad. Where I just think he needs to be quicker. He gets the puck off quicker, and there's a lot of problems we have right now. Like we can talk about this forever. One problem I don't have right now, and I heard this on a podcast, not 100% sure, and I couldn't disagree with it more. Their take was that the Canucks' problem is goaltending.
That's like I'd say the least of our worries right now. Like I'd say goaltending is the last thing we should have to focus on at this point in our season.
Yeah. They said, they're like, you look at their bubble run and you saw how Markstrom played and how much they bailed him out. And I'm like, have you been watching this team at all this year?
We would have lost. We would have lost a couple more games if we didn't have Demko.
100%. 100%.
And we don't have that many wins, man. So we would have been down bad if Demko wasn't enough.
We would have been the Coyotes right now, the Arizona Coyotes with like 2 wins under
Two
our
wins.
belt.
Yeah, 2
Like,
wins, literally.
So, yeah, I think goaltending's our last word. Bro. Demko's been our first star this season.
They must not watch a lot of hockey, like Canucks hockey.
Or, yeah.
Because I mean, like, okay, just 1-0 game last night. That's not a high scoring game at all. But even that one goal that went through Demko, like, I tweeted about it earlier. That's Hagel. He literally took a penalty the play before that.
I know.
He took a penalty.
And it was a clear one, too.
It was a clear trip, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know what? You're going to let that go. And of course,
like, whatever.
He scores.
Yeah.
He tips the goal. And then it's like, that was just our luck. That just defines the luck we had last night, really.
Yeah.
Like 40-something shots, no goals. And they score with a guy who should have taken a penalty to play before. Like, it's the way it goes. It's not goaltending at all, though. We're getting scored on a lot because we have, like, our defense are like, I don't know how to describe it, man. It's tough to watch sometimes. In our own zone, sometimes we can't get the puck up to save our life.
Yeah.
Our wingers are just skating around, floating. And then our defensemen don't want to get deep into the corner. And it's just like we get outworked by everyone.
Yeah.
Like when we played the Avalanche for that 7-1 game, that was a tough watch, a very tough watch. But you could tell how skilled the other team was. But not just that, you could tell how much the Avalanche wanted to prove to the Canucks that you guys aren't even on our level, man.
No, 100%. And they did all that without Nate Dogg.
And Nate Dogg, who's second best player in the league, in my opinion. Yeah. Third. And he's gone right now.
Yeah.
Their team is ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. But I got a question to ask you. And it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Horvat and JT Miller are both up after next season, I believe. They're both up.
So in 2 years?
Yeah. What do you, because we're probably not going to afford them both. JT Miller has been playing above his contract right now. I think he's making just over 5.
I think he's been playing great this year, honestly.
Yeah. Who do you keep and how do you handle their contracts? They might even. I need to check their cap friendly again.
If I like just to say, like, I mean, Bo Horvat, like, he's our cappy, man. Like, he's our captain. That's good. If we get rid of him, who else is going to lead our team? If you think about it, man. Like, it was a huge ceremony when he got, when he got that C on his chest, and like the Sedins were there. You remember that?
Yeah.
And like they played with Horvat too, right? Like they've seen his come up, and he's come up, and he's just been there for us, So I think it'd be tough to get rid of Horvat. And I think Horvat would have a hard time leaving the Canucks because I think he's set here. Like, I think he's pretty set in Vancouver right now with his family and stuff. I think it'd be a tough move for him. And I think JT Miller would probably be the one that would want to go.
My thing is trade JT Miller this year.
This deadline, you think?
Yeah.
Get someone.
Or because if he's performing at a high value and we're just like, we're not good. Like, we're just not. Trade JT Miller now. Maybe get a first round pick for him to a contender. Yeah. Like, what if we trade him to, I don't know, Carolina? Or
I would say Carolina would be up there with the Avalanche if JT went on that team.
Exactly. And they're not a team that spends a lot.
Their team's gross, too.
So if they just take him on for the last year of his contract, because he's making 5.25 right now.
Think about that, man.
So
that's below what he deserves. If Ekman Larson, like you said, is 8.4 mil.
Yeah, he's making 8.25 right now. We're paying him 7 of it. So Arizona retained $1.25 of it.
I would say JT's playing at a higher level than like that. He's playing in the 7 mils right now. I'd say.
Yeah, he's like a point per game player, very much close to.
Plays hard. He's
tough as nails.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes attitude can get in the way, but that could also just be from playing with this team.
like you can't blame him, like you can't really blame him, but you can sense his frustration. Like he's got hot mics every game, just yelling, just fuck.
Yeah.
Like almost every game, dude.
No, 100%. So my thing is, depending on where we're at, if we suddenly get hot and we're like sitting
Rolling.
like top 3 in the Pacific and we're actually like back on our feet and like actually playing how we're supposed to play, if we're bottom 10 in the league, trade JT Miller. And my friend Corey, who's been on the show multiple times.
Yeah.
Corey, if you're listening, I'm giving you your flowers right now. He said trade JT Miller last year. He said, hey,
Damn.
Toronto, you want JT Miller for the playoffs? The guy who's tough as nails and can score and be good on the PK and power play.
Holy smokes,
He's
man.
like-
the Maple Leafs with him?
He's like,
Damn.
give us Sandine and a couple picks for JT Miller and Canucks. Let's blow this up and start rebuilding around Pedersen, Horvat, and Hughes. And even Besser, this is his last year before he's up, RFA. I won't be surprised if he's traded at the deadline either, because he's been playing
Dog.
He's always going to be the third player on a line. Like, I'm sorry, he's not fast enough. He can't carry a play himself. And
Oh my god, like he's not fast enough. Like he watching him, dude. He's not fast. And like at the start of this, I was saying this NHL is fast.
yeah,
Like he needs to either get another gear or go.
yeah.
Like honestly,
So I won't be surprised if he's traded.
I wouldn't be surprised if Besser got traded.
And whether we get a couple picks or even I would trade him for a guy who's like tough as shit, like who can.
Oh yeah,
Like I can't even think of a play off the top of my head, but like almost like a few years back Nick Foligno type, a guy who's not as like goal scoring flashy, but who can provide some grit to our lineup.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where like Besser where he would fit in on another team though. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's
like he's not an easy fit. Like he's second line, like he's playing third line right now, but he could maybe play on the first line if he has the right guys around him. But Besser's not the kind of guy that's going to make the guys around him better. Like he's not that guy, I don't think.
Yeah. So
he benefits a lot from other guys, and he's got a wicked shot. But like you said, he's not fast. He's not quick enough right now.
Yeah, and with his shot, he's just not confident with it right now. Like he has a good shot, but he doesn't let it go enough, and it's just like it makes me mad because he's taking for granted a really great talent he has.
Yeah, probably his best trait is
exactly
his shot easily.
So I think he's still young. He's 24 years old. Obviously, you can figure it out.
Maybe he'll want to go back to Minnesota, man. Play with the Wild. They're doing good.
Probably.
Man. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Right? Like
give us Kaprizov for Besser.
Easy. I'll take that deal easy. Yeah.
But even Jordan Greenway for Besser. Jordan Greenway's a guy with size and he's physical. And he's provided like some sort of goal scoring.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Besser's the bigger name. So maybe some picks will be involved, but like Greenway's been in some trade rumors. He's not making as much as Besser, I don't think. And he's got some size to him, and he's physical. So,
dude, I'm just trying to think of like Besser playing like in Minnesota, like he could play a pretty good role there. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, they're a great team this year too.
Yeah, they are.
But I just don't want to see like. I hate seeing other guys go from the Canucks and just start playing good.
Jordan Greenway is making half of what Besser's making.
And he's 24 as well.
Yeah.
I would just hate to see Besser just start rolling in Minnesota. It would just be such a kick in the ass, man.
It would suck for sure.
But at the same time, like if he's not producing with us, why do we need him?
Like you got to kind of play with how you can't, obviously there's potential, but you can't rely on that. Like, has it been working? Like a change of scenery is probably what he needs, and he's not going to find a change of scenery on the same team.
No.
So,
but even talking about Petey, like I don't know if like he's obviously signed this contract with us already, but like maybe he needed to change the scenery, man. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like I feel like there's Pedersen just watching him like throughout this year. Like yesterday, he actually played better. He played better yesterday. But just watching him throughout this season, I don't know if he's scared, but he's lost like a bit of a spark. And I don't know if it's from the injury, if he's a bit like scared to like re-injure his wrist again. But like you said, even with Besser, he'll shoot in your pads or he'll, like fake a shot and take a worse shot than he had. I kind of feel the same way. Like Pedersen's just, if he's got his 1T, he used to rip that. He ripped it at your Dallas game though, when you went there.
Yeah.
Right? He ripped it there, but like he's done that once this year.
Yeah.
Like actually, like it's like
I mentioned in my tweet about the Chicago game, and it was good to see him finally rip one-timers. Like he did it consistently.
On net.
Like he finally let it go. And I'm like, that's just what we need. We need him to like let teams, like him doing that will make teams respect it more because he hasn't been doing that enough.
Yeah.
And when they do that, it opens up crossing passes, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think he needs to do it. But
he just needs to hit the net. Like
yeah.
I tell my dad every night, I'm like, Pedersen needs to hit the net because when he rips it, and he's got a wicked shot too, right? Like his shot is unreal, especially for his weight, like his body type.
Yeah,
he's got a wicked shot. Like look at Ovechkin, like he's built like Ovechkin. I could talk about Ovechkin too. Like that guy is just on a roll right now.
Yeah,
imagine having a guy like that on your team where he scores every game. He scores every game, dude.
I talked about it with Michael Bartner on a couple episodes ago. He's just like, this is like 10 games in, and he had like 18 points. He was like 10 goals in 10 games. And like we said, it was like, is he ever gonna stop? Like I think
he's a machine.
He's, I think, unanimously the greatest goal scorer in NHL history because he's gone through 2 COVID seasons and 2 lockouts, and he's still within reach of Gretzky's record, which no one thought was possible.
Yeah.
And so I think he's undoubtedly like that. But yeah, having a guy like that, Canucks just haven't had that. And obviously,
like a consistent guy. Obviously, Ovechkin isn't a talent that comes around every year. Like he's once in a generation kind of talent.
Yeah.
But we need our guys to be a little bit more consistent, and that's what's been missing.
Yeah.
It's just consistency. Like every game, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just the way it is. But like, if you were to be on Washington, you're a Washington fan, you kind of get the sense that every game Ovechkin might pot one, or he's gonna at least have a good scoring opportunity every game, every single game. And we don't have that certainty here with the Canucks. We don't have any guy that we can say, oh yeah, he might score tonight.
Yeah.
It's like every pick for me is like, I don't know who's going to score a goal tonight. Cause you think, oh, Hughes might score one. And then, like Burrows ends up scoring one. You're like, what the hell? Burrows scores his first goal in the NHL. That's cool. But like, we don't have a consistent guy who's producing.
Yeah, I agree. Moving away from, I think, is there any last thoughts on the Canucks? Cause I have a couple other, NHL headlines. I don't know. We can talk about the Canucks forever, but any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts for the Canucks would just be, I haven't given up on them though. I'll be real. I haven't given up. Like you go through, if this went down in the middle of the season, like 40 games in, like you don't look at it as closely, but it's because it's happened in the start of the season right now. It's like so vivid because we've made all these changes and stuff and it's not working out. But who knows? You remember the St. Louis Blues that one year where they played like crap in the start of the season and then they made the playoffs and then they won the cup. Like, I'm not saying we're going to do that this year, win the cup, but I'm saying teams can turn it around. They're professionals, they're athletes. They can figure it out. And I hope that they do, but we need something. Something.
I think we just need to make a change.
And I agree with you. Oh yeah. I said Benning. Who would you think needs to change? Benning or Grant?
Because it all starts with the top. If we bring in a new GM, 99% chance he wants his own guy. He's like, hey, I've seen what Green's done. No.
Yeah. I agree with that too. Like, I mean, I just think Benning's been with us for too long.
Any other team would have fired him like 3 years ago.
Instead
of giving him a new contract.
I agree. Or even
But-
if he was even in another sport, like in
Yeah.
other sports, if you're a GM and you're doing what you're doing right now, like you're doing with the Canucks, you're not lasting half a season.
Yeah.
Like you're
100%. 100%.
You're just not. So yeah, go Canucks, go though.
Go Canucks, go. You touched on consistency and a player. You kind of know what you're going to get from a player. Troy Terry for the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh my god,
16 game point streak coming from the clouds.
Olympic
And-
campaign right now is Olympic
Yeah.
campaign, dude.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. And talk about a guy who's he's just playing so confident right now.
And
I picked him up on waivers when he had one game into this point streak. I saw he had like 2 goals and assists. I was like, hey, I'll pick him up. And then now he's like a top 10 fantasy player this year.
Yeah.
And I've been debating whether to sell high, but I'm like, what if he's just like this? What if he's just a good player? Like, you don't want to sell high on him because he's giving me a point every single night. But also, it's like, is this going
to be consistent, right? Like,
and,
but to be fair, he's proven a bit of consistency.
Yeah, he's already set career highs, like not even a quarter way into the season. He's already set career highs. He's 5th in scoring, and he's a 5th round pick.
Wow.
He's just playing unbelievable right now.
He is. I'm looking at it right now. He's playing like he's gonna, if he keeps playing like this, he's gonna be getting paid.
Yeah, 100%.
He's gonna be getting paid. But also when I was watching him when he played the Canucks, like he's a sneaky guy.
He just floats around out there, gets the puck, and then makes a feed, and then
he's sneaky, dude. Like
yeah.
he I wouldn't say like he's the hardest working guy. Like you don't see him going out there just skating, body checking, getting the puck. He's sneaky. He knows he's smart. He's got a high hockey IQ.
Yeah, 100%.
You can tell like he's an intelligent guy too. Like he knows what he's doing out there. He's not trying to put himself in any vulnerable position, nothing like that. And he's got good guys around him, right? He's playing with Getzlav and is it Silver? Who's he playing with?
Yeah, so maybe it's Milano.
Oh yes,
I saw him take a few shifts with him there, but
Anaheim wasn't supposed to be like this.
No, they're like 2nd in the Pacific right now. They're rolling. And it helps that Zegras is finally getting to the Calder level that everyone thought he was. He started off quiet, but this guy's the truth, man.
Oh no, he's great. He is great.
He's the truth.
I know, and they got some good, like they got Jamie Drysdale on that team too. He's a great defenseman. Like I remember watching him for Canada in the juniors, and I was like, this kid's gonna be good.
Yeah,
and he's been pretty solid there. And
yeah,
I mean, Trevor Zegras, like he's playing like a Jack Hughes level right now. He's playing good. Like he's playing almost better than Jack Hughes in my opinion.
I think they're pretty neck and neck right now. Yeah. And unfortunately, Jack Hughes, like a while back, he's been dealing with the dislocated shoulder and all that. Mm-hmm. Did you see the video of him when he did injure his shoulder?
Oh yeah, he was in pain.
He skated off the ice, like basically dumped the stick rack and just yelled out.
Yeah.
Like he yelled, and I think it was not even the pain; it was just the realization, like I'm gonna be out a long time. And he was playing good too.
Yeah,
and it was just unfortunate, but yeah, Troy Terry, Anaheim, they've been rolling. Did you see the Rangers game? They beat Buffalo with 0.4 seconds left
in the Garden. Huge. In the Garden, dude. That's big.
That was huge.
That must have been electric, man. Like imagine being at a game like that and you score 0.7 left.
Yeah,
that's a heartbreaker, man. Who scored the goal? Sorry, I saw the goal last night.
It was Lindgren. He was just a defenseman who just snuck down, and Adam Fox got it from the circle, passed it right over, and tapping.
I'll talk about Adam Fox too, eh?
Yeah,
he's been playing at
we'll get to him later when we talk about our Olympic roster.
Oh yeah, he's in there for sure. But Troy Terry, I would say if he keeps this up, Olympic campaign kind of guy. He could make that team.
He could, for sure.
He could. I mean, it would definitely be a gamble, I would think, picking him because it's his first year playing like this. You know what I mean? But you can go with them. Like he's playing at a really high level.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
To be able to play like this as a 97 on a team that wasn't supposed to be this good this year and proving yourself as just a guy that you want in your team almost, right? Like you want a guy like that. Like
Yeah.
he just produces. He produces every night almost. So
Yeah,
huge. He's
I
playing
agree.
big time.
One thing before we get to the main event of this episode, little soft spot here, but Austin Matthews raises $134,000 for Movember, and he shaved the old little Pablo stash off his face.
Today.
Once he, I think it was last night. This news broke out, but yeah, his goal was $134,000 for Movember. He raised that, and once he hit that, he's letting go of the old facial hair above the old lips.
Why would he get rid of it though? It looks great.
I don't know. Maybe he just set out.
He looks unreal with the stash, man. He pulls it off like no one else can.
Yeah. No, it was
that's huge. That's huge.
It's gonna be weird looking at him now without the mustache on his face.
Right? Like he just suits it well, but that's huge. 140K. That's a great thing Matthews is doing. He's a great guy. You could tell he's a good guy all around.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. But is there any other news that you want to touch on? Anything that you brought that you want to talk about?
Not right now at this point here. I'm trying to think, but that's actually, is that for just like Movember in general? Like, yeah, like is that like the prostate cancer?
Yeah,
that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
That's dope, man. I didn't even know that. I want to search up Matthews without a stash right now, though. Did he post that on his Instagram or something?
I don't know. I just saw it on NHL and they said that he's shaving it off and stuff. But
how is he gonna look like even NHL? Like in NHL 22, they're gonna have to shave his stash in there. It's gonna look weird.
I know, man.
That's like a trademark Matthews look, man. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
It's a staple. But Olympics 2022 Beijing Olympics, NHL players are
hopefully going to be
hopefully heading there. I think they have until January to opt out
because of COVID and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, but it's on track that NHL players are heading. So me and my cousin back in May, I believe, we gave our projected lineups, but we want to kind of give. Well, we only did Canada, but we're going to do Canada and US, how we think it's going to shape out.
We have to do US too, I think.
Yeah.
We have to do US.
And things have changed since then. Maybe a couple cuts, couple additions, all that. So we're going to kind of go by and tell our team. And obviously this is barring health. There's a few players on here where it's like, if they're healthy, I think they're good to go. But with the way they're playing, I think they're on track to make the team. So as guest, we'll go Team Canada and let's start with the US and then we'll save Canada for last.
I like that.
Save Canada for last. So I want you to we'll go line by line.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or if there's any agreement, but I want you just go and tell your Team USA and we'll kind of talk about it as we go.
Okay, we'll go. I'll say my forwards first here.
All right.
And since we just talked about the man, Austin Matthews.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. He should be playing first line.
Yeah.
Should be.
I agree.
Health-wise, like you were saying, Jack Eichel. If he can play in there, maybe.
I don't think he's going to play. I think he's projected to be back in May. So I don't think he's on the team.
Okay, but if there's some sort of miracle, he would 100% be on the team. 100%.
Yeah. I didn't put him on my team just because I don't think he's playing, but obviously he's on there if he's healthy.
Oh yeah. 2010 gem from USA, Patrick Kane's got to be on there.
Yeah,
easily. Who else? Johnny Gaudreau.
For sure.
For sure, especially with the way the Flames are playing too. He's playing great this year. That whole team is playing good. Mangiapane's playing unreal, man.
Yeah,
that guy's playing good. But who else? US Kyle Connor
for sure. I got him here.
Do we? I would say JT Miller's playing on that team.
I think I got JT Miller here.
Brock Besser.
I got him as an extra.
I would say he's in the reserves right now, absolutely. But if he plays better, he might make it. But if he's gonna stay the same he is right now, like right now, I would not put him on the Olympic team.
I have him as an extra.
So he's not even on your team.
Like there's always like the guy in case someone gets hurt.
Okay, yeah.
Like he made the team. He's either like 13th forward.
Okay, so yeah, fair. Well, they're gonna have to have extra guys there too, especially with COVID and stuff.
Yeah,
like, for sure. The Kachuk brothers.
Yeah, I got them.
Dylan Larkin.
I got Dylan Larkin here.
Max Pacioretty.
Yep. I got
who else do you have on yours?
I got a full like line by line.
I like that.
So you can agree as I go here.
Yeah.
Agree, disagree, whatever. So I got Matthew centering Kane DeBrincat.
DeBrincat and Kane. Okay, yeah, I like that.
DeBrincat is probably one of the best goal scorers in the league, in my opinion. Then I got JT Miller with Gensel and Kyle Connor.
Gensel, yeah, Kyle Connor. I like Gensel, yeah.
Jake Gensel's like he's unreal. Then I got Dylan Larkin centering Goudreau and Pacioretty.
Yeah, that's a good line. That's a solid line.
And then this one might be a little bit of a hot take.
Yeah,
might be. Chris Kreider.
Okay.
The Rangers centering the Kachuk brothers.
Kachuk's not surprised, but Chris Kreider, I can see where you're coming from because that guy just plays in big time moments.
He's got speed and physicality,
but he also delivers. Like he scores big goals.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest with you, I'm just saying this hypothetically, obviously, but if Canada were to play against the US in the gold medal game, I would be scared of Chris Kreider.
100%.
I would be, because he just knows how to score those kind of goals.
Yeah.
And I think it's a hot take, but I like it. I like that take. It's a good take. He's a big time player.
Yeah.
He's a big time player. And he's been here before. Like he's played in big games. He's not new to this.
This one might even be spicier. Joe Pavelski is my 13th forward.
Joe Pavelski, eh?
He's been to the Olympics before, and he's been playing good the past couple of years. He's a player that doesn't need to play a lot, but he's a player that the team could use.
He's kind of like Chris Kreider in the way they just got like veteran. They got that veteran presence because this team's pretty young.
Yeah, exactly. Like Pavelski, he can just throw him on the third or fourth line, let him be a fill-in, whatever. But he could be a power play one type of guy to be net front. He can tip pucks in, and he's a guy who's been to the Olympics before.
Yeah.
And
I like that take. I would take him over Besser. I'll tell you that right now, especially with the way they're playing. I would take Pavelski over Besser. So for sure.
And then I got Besser in the press box right now. So
watching.
Yeah. So I don't have Troy Terry on this lineup, but I definitely think he can contend for a spot, no doubt.
Oh yeah,
no doubt. I just
big
think
time. If he continues on this, like, is he still on his? I haven't kept up much with him. Is he still on his game point streak right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. That's 16 games.
That's huge, man.
It's massive.
That's not easy to do in the NHL. That's huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really is. But yeah, there's a lot of guys
I like your roster, man. I like your roster. That's good. I like the two vets you put in there, Kreider and Pavelski.
Yeah,
those are two guys that I don't think a lot of people would have thought of, to be fair with you.
Yeah, I just think it goes a long way with
this young squad.
Yeah, like, and a short tournament.
Yeah.
Like, it goes a long way. But we'll go defenseman now. So
obviously for me, you go. You say your defenseman.
So for Olympic rosters, it's 22 skaters and 3 goalies. And so I did like 14 forwards, 8 defensemen.
Yeah.
So first line, we'll go line by line and see if I got McAvoy Fox.
Easy. I was going to say McAvoy Fox too.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Like McAvoy Fox for sure.
Then I got Quinn Hughes.
Yep.
And John Carlson from Washington.
Jeez. That's
disgusting.
It's
That's disgusting.
it's a gross defensive core they're gonna have.
And then since this defenseman's already a lock for the U.S. team, Seth Jones
Yeah,
and Zach Rowinski, bringing back the Columbus duo.
they'll play good together. They'll
they-
play good together.
They played on Columbus,
Yeah.
so they'll play together. And then
Seth Jones yesterday though, like you didn't really impress me that much.
no, but
He's a great player. He's a great player.
no, but each team already locked in 3 players for their team, and Seth Jones was the one for Team USA, so he's already on the team.
Good for him, honestly.
Yeah, so he's already made it. Whether he's an extra, like whatever, but I feel like
They'll play him if they locked him in. That would be so silly to sit a guy that you locked in.
yeah.
Like, there's no way.
So I put him on there because he is going to be there.
100%.
And then my 7th defenseman is Slavin from Carolina. Probably the best defensive defenseman in the league.
You think so?
Yeah.
I was gonna shoot Torrey Krug
Torrey Krug?
because I think Krug is such a hard defenseman to play against.
Yeah.
I feel like watching him, especially since like the Canucks Bruins kind of rivalry, like just watching the Canucks, especially being a Habs fan, like whenever we would play against Boston and Krug was on there, but I feel like Krug isn't the same guy in St. Louis as he was in Boston.
I agree.
I think he fed off a lot from the Boston culture there because he was a perfect defenseman there. Like I was so surprised when they let him go.
Yeah.
Because him and McAvoy were just like such pest defensemen to play against, man.
I just
Like
think they couldn't re-sign him because they had McAvoy to worry about. So
Yeah.
they're like, we have other guys who have played better than, like we have Grizzlick, who should be a top 4 defenseman, but he's in our 3rd pairing because we have Krug. So we can afford to bump this guy up, let another younger guy fill in as a 6th, or sign like a cheap vet.
Yeah.
And then we'll let Krug walk.
But I think it would be big, like you said, Slavin's like a good defenseman, like you said, one of the best in the league. Just because their defensemen are pretty offensive.
Yeah.
They're also not very big. Like not a lot of their defensemen are that big. Like Seth Jones just got some size, and Werenski, I think, but like Hughes and Carlson, not the biggest. McAvoy can hit.
John Carlson's big.
Is he big?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Is he?
John Carlson?
Let me look.
He's over 6.
Yeah, he is. He's one. Yeah, he actually is pretty big, I guess.
He's a big defenseman.
He's a great defenseman.
So
but yeah, I think the US will be a tough defense to get around.
yeah. My extra defenseman, Cam Fowler from Anaheim.
He's good.
He's a good player.
He's
and
good.
Anaheim's playing good. He's playing good. I think they could use him to fill in.
I think Anaheim, if they keep rolling, they'll have some guys on their team that need a second look for the Olympic team.
Trevor Zegras and Troy Terry for
Yeah.
the American team, like this.
Yeah. No, like if Zegers keeps up, like he could, like he played pretty big time in the World Juniors. Like he could play. He knows how to play in that Olympic stage, kind of like for his country, obviously. So it'd be interesting. I was gonna say Ryan McDonough could be another one.
I like that.
He's another classic. Like kind of reminds you of like a Chris Kreider, Joe Pavelski, like a nice veteran presence in there, and just a go-to defenseman. I'd say if he's on your team, you can rely on him.
No,
So,
I like that pick. I like that pick for sure.
what are you going for goalies?
So I got my one locked up for sure. Connor Hellebuck.
Easy.
He's starting goalie for Team USA. He's top 3 goalie in the league.
He's no one's starting over him.
No. My backup, John Gibson for Anaheim.
No, that's fair.
I think he's a top 10 goalie in the league.
Yep.
He's unbelievable. He's so good. He eats a lot of shots and makes a lot of saves.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd string, our boy,
Thatcher, baby.
Thatcher.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's mine, bro. But Hellebuck, I don't think we'll see Demko play, but like
He might play like
against
one, like
against,
Latvia
like, you know,
or Belarus or something.
against one of those teams just so he can get that experience. But Hellebuck starting over any goalie for the US if he stays healthy, obviously. But he's so big and he's just so good. Like I was so disappointed I didn't get to watch him because they had their other goalie when I watched Winnipeg. So
Yeah, no,
stop.
Hellebuyck just makes it look easy, but I think US are probably going to have the best goalies in this Olympics by far. Like, I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
Unless they play Canada. Canada's going to rip him a new one. But to all my American listeners, we'll get to them later. But
we'll get to those guys later.
But no, you can't go wrong with any of the American goalies. Demko is worth starting 100%. I would be so confident. Gibson, I'd be confident in, and Hellebuyck, I'm always confident in. Like, all these guys, it's
like when we had as Team Canada in 2010, we had Luongo, Marty Brodeur, and Carey Price. It's like any of these guys are starting any game.
Yeah,
like it's like you have no worries in that part of your team. It's like those guys got it on lock, and that's just the way it is. Like,
yeah. But forwards, defensemen, or goalies, would you make any changes to any of these guys? Is there any players that you're kind
of? I don't know, man. I think we kind of covered it. Like, another guy though that I love, TJ Oshie. I love him.
He could easily be a guy on this team.
I love TJ Oshie, man. Like,
and he brings that Olympic experience too. And he's still like in game form. Like, he's still a quality player you can throw out, and he can put a few points home. Like,
oh my God, big time. Like, and he plays with like great players on Washington, so he's used to playing around just unreal guys. So he'll fit in easily with any. If he were to play on that team, he wouldn't look bad.
No, I don't doubt that for a second.
And Clayton Keller too is another guy that could play. But
yeah, Clayton Keller is kind of he's
but I feel like there's just too many guys that Clayton Keller's a great player, but there's too many guys other than him that can play for that team. So
I agree. Go to Canada. We'll go over Canada now.
Now this is a serious team.
Yeah, this is legit.
This is a legit team here. Obviously, the US is a legit team. I'm not taking anything away, but like, Canada is just. I don't think I've seen a team like this in a while.
Yeah, so I got line by line here again, and I don't know what you got in front, but we'll just go through mine here, and then you can kind of touch in on any players that you feel should be replaced or not.
I feel like a lot of our guys will be similar, but I got a few hot takes I think that you might enjoy, you might laugh about, but
let's go. See. I'm ready for them. So first line, I got Crosby, Marchand, Bergeron.
Oh yeah.
They've played in the past together for international events. They may as well be on the same team. That's how much chemistry they have together.
And just thinking about that line.
Yeah.
Kick Crosby out of the draw. You got Marchand and Bergeron taking the draw.
Yeah, they all
in the offensive zone. Like, they can score, they can do whatever. In the defensive zone, we're getting the puck out.
Yeah,
they're just the most all-around players. That's an all-around forward line. Like, it's just ridiculous thinking about that line.
Yeah, my second line, McDavid centering Nathan McKinnon and Mitch Marner.
Yeah. That's just a goal scoring line.
That's just a disgusting line.
Like, that's our second line. Like, are you sure, man? Like
obviously,
like, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, that doesn't even sound like a second line in any way, shape, or form.
No,
like,
it's unbelievable. It's so gross. My third line.
Yeah.
This one, low-key, one of my favorites. Braden Point centering Mark Stone and Jonathan Huberdeau.
I was going to say, that Huberdeau in the third line. Yeah, big time. Braden Point, too, like, he'll play. I think if he plays on this team, and I think he will, he might be one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah, he's so fun to watch.
He's so fun, and he just scores big-time goals, man. Like, he's someone you can count on. It's unreal.
This line is so nasty. There's so many guys left off. That was our third line, and that's like.
And then we still have, you haven't even touched John Tavares yet. Like, I don't know if he's on your roster or not, but no, he's not.
No,
jeez,
I know. Wow. My fourth line, Sean Couturier, centering Ryan O'Reilly, and Steven Stamkos.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Steven Stamkos is a fourth liner. He scored 60 goals in the NHL once, and he's on my fourth line.
Yep. That's just how deep this team is.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Like I think I got O'Reilly and Couturier in there because you need the defensive forwards who can also produce. And those
Yeah.
two guys who are two Selkie like players who Couturier's put up like 95 points one year. O'Reilly's put up 90 points one year. Like they're
Yeah.
just unreal players who are there.
And yeah.
And two leadership guys. O'Reilly's a captain. He knows how they call him the Factor. That's his nickname. The Factor.
Yeah, because he
does
he
so
factors
many
into
things.
everything they do. Yeah.
And when a guy is nicknamed the Factor, you have to put him on your Olympic team. Like you just have to. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can't leave this guy off. And then my 13th forward is Mark Scheifele.
Scheifele?
Yeah.
I would have put Tavares, but listening to your group, because I was thinking like Claude Giroux could play because he's playing a pretty good year this year.
Yeah.
But it just depends, man. Like I wouldn't be disappointed throwing any other guy in there if someone's injured, but like having McDavid, McKinnon, and Marner on the second line is just ridiculous to even think. And then you got like you said, Ryan O'Reilly, Sean Couturier, and Steven Stamkos on the fourth line.
It's crazy.
That's any other team in Olympics, first line or second line.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care what other team you are, even the United States. Like that's their second line.
Yeah.
I'd say third line minimum. We're running that fourth line.
Yeah. Do you and my extra forward is Barzal.
Oh yeah, I like that. I'm this is such a hot take, and I know it will never happen, right? But I just would love to see Suzuki get a little bit of
Nick Suzuki.
I'm such a Habs fanboy, man. But like, I don't know. I would just love to see the kid get a little bit of Olympic experience.
No,
but,
he's a good player.
He's nowhere near as good as like Matt Barzal is like the best player on New York.
Yeah,
like on the Islanders, it's like you can't really squeeze Suzuki in here because all these guys that we've named are top or the second best player on their teams.
Like nothing against Suzuki, and he's an unbelievable player.
There's just so much more skill. So much more skill.
I would put Horvat ahead of Suzuki.
Oh my god! Like even Horvat,
and
like, I didn't even think of him.
Yeah,
like I didn't even think of him. Yeah, I'm just a Canucks fanboy, man. That's all it is.
Suzuki's a hell of a player. Do you have any other changes to my forward group? Would you sub anyone out besides Tavares or Suzuki?
No, I would say I'm looking here. I don't see any other guy like Tyler Seguin, but like
no, he's
like,
washed.
No way. Like
he's washed.
No, like even him, like yeah, like watching the Stars play the Canucks, I was like, I can't even notice Tyler Seguin. Yeah. Like there's so many other guys now. Like we said, the game's changed. It's gone faster, but like these guys are just like our starting lineup for forwards is ridiculous.
Like I would even put Jamie Benn ahead of Tyler Seguin because Ben's been there before. And he's like a big guy who can maybe have a spot on like the second power play kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like just like back Canada's just so deep. Their B team can compete for gold.
Yeah.
That's how deep we are.
I would say their B team could easily compete. Like they could be another team and we could play Canada against Canada B team. Like it literally could be like that. There's just so much talent.
I know.
But like it's ridiculous. It would just the only thing I'd say we're slimmer on would be goalies, but we still have unreal goalies. But like you said, compared to the US, like we don't have like that. I don't know how to describe it. We still got solid goalies.
Yeah, it's just some of them are like
new timer.
It's like are they bringing it today? Like you don't know necessarily what you're getting, but with the American goalies, they're a bit more consistent and like.
Well, it's just been so long since we've had like a real chance to see like NHL guys in the Olympics, man. It's been too long, actually. Like,
yeah, no, 100%. Defenseman, we go defenseman. I'll rattle off my 8, and you can kind of change whatever you want here. So my top 2 is the Vegas boys, Pietrangelo and Shea Theodore.
Yeah. I don't know if I would personally put them on the first line.
I just think they're a right and left shot defenseman with chemistry, and Pietrangelo is Bruce Armstrong's. Is it Bruce Armstrong, the GM for Canada? really hope I didn't just butcher
Is
that.
he-
But it was St. Louis's general manager.
Yeah.
And
Is he
Pietrangelo is one of the
the locks?
locks.
Okay, yeah. Well, I would he would play on that team regardless. He's
Yeah.
such a great defenseman. Like
Doug Armstrong. This is Doug Armstrong. And I just think him and Theodore have some sort of chemistry together. So maybe just like a solid defensive pairing.
I would say they would have to be a pair.
Yeah.
Like if they play like they would play as a pair, and I think that would be the best way to do it because they, like you said, the chemistry and just like Shea Theodore is like actually like my girlfriend's brother. Like he played with Shea and like they're like talk and stuff and like like
Really?
he's like close to Shea, yeah. And like Shea, like watching him play against the Canucks that year in the bubble, unreal.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's so like calm.
Yeah.
Like he would be such a great presence on that defensive
And-
core. Like I feel like
Guess where Vegas got him from? Anaheim. Think about how nasty Anaheim would be if Shea Theodore was still on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Disgusting. But
Anaheim's such a surprise this year,
Yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even count. Like I counted them out a bit, but
Yeah.
no counting them out, man.
my
Second line,
second pairing, Thomas Chabot and Cale Makar.
I think Cale Makar is going to be unreal.
He's so good, dude.
He is.
We have Cale
Once he
Makar, Connor McDavid, and Nathan McKinnon, and Sidney Crosby on our team.
Marchand,
It's-
Bergeron, Braden Point,
it's so gross.
Huberdeau.
So gross, man. But
It's going to be the funnest like things to watch if this thing pulls through, man.
I
It's
know,
gonna be
man.
Insane.
so that's my second pair. And then
Yeah.
my third pair is Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah,
And-
love him. He was when I was a defenseman, because I like switched to forward. Like I don't know, he was like my favorite defenseman to watch. Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah, he's really good and like he's really flourishing, especially the past couple of years.
Yeah, I just think he's just a good all around like solid defender. He can score you goals. He can kill penalties. He can do whatever you
Yeah.
want, man.
And then I have him paired with Dougie Hamilton.
Another such a good defenseman.
I know.
Dougie Hamilton's got so much swagger, man. When he plays,
Yeah.
like I love the way he plays, man.
It's crazy. And then my seventh defenseman, I was kind of like indecisive on this one.
Yeah.
I got Morgan Riley.
Yeah, I think he's played pretty good this year for Toronto.
I could
but
see someone else taking his spot though. I was kind of
I was thinking maybe Drew Doughty,
I have him as my extras. I was bouncing between Doughty and Morgan Riley.
or even personally, like I like Tyson Berry, but I don't think he'll play. I like him though. But here I'm looking here. Who else they got? I don't know, man. I think our defensemen like are pretty locked. Ryan Ellis, but I don't think he could fit in that team. if I'm
Ryan
being honest
Ellis
with
is
you.
a bad pick either. I fucking forgot about him too.
There's also Chris Letang, but he's getting older, but he's played, right?
Yeah.
So-
So would you make any changes to those defensemen?
Oh, but I think Morgan Riley would probably take the spot over Drew Doughty.
But I also could see Doughty being in there too. I could see him being in the top 6 and like bumping like Shea Theodore out and putting Doughty in there instead. Like I could see that happening.
but
Like I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah, well, like before Doughty got hurt though, like he was playing really good.
Yeah, he was. Like
He
he
was-
was playing unbelievable.
So like that's the thing. Like, could he even maybe boot out Shabbat for a spot?
Yeah, maybe. Like
because Doughty's been there too. Like he's
he
done
brings
this,
experience.
and not a lot of these guys have.
Yeah.
So like you need guys like that on your team though. So like that's one thing Canada's gonna have to struggle with is there's a lot of young guys who are talented, but you also need guys that have been there.
Yeah. 100%.
So it'll be so interesting to see. But regardless of who they pick, man, like this team is gonna be deep.
I agree.
One of the deepest teams in Olympic history, I think.
I agree 100%. Goaltending. This can go a lot of different directions.
Especially with health concerns. Could go because Carey Price, in my opinion, would be my number one pick. But if
Yeah.
he's not back in time, And if he's not playing at the level that he is, even if he comes back, because he's taken a good amount, like not a huge amount, but like he is going through some stuff, right? So like if he's not able to play at his top game, I don't think you'd want him on the team. Maybe as a third goalie, but not starting.
So this is assuming he's healthy.
Yeah.
I got Carey Price number 1.
Yeah. Me too.
This one might be a bit spicy. Might be. I got Darcy Kemper backing up.
Yeah. He was my third. Goalie.
He was your third?
He's my third.
My third goalie is Mackenzie Blackwood on New Jersey. He's a solid goalie. And
yeah.
It's just like you can go Carter Hart, Jordan Bennington. I'm
gonna be real. I would not want Carter Hart on the team. That might be a hot take, but like Carter Hart is so up and down, man.
I know.
I wouldn't want him to be if he wouldn't start, obviously, right? But like if he were to be there, like I don't know how I'd feel about like if it was a big game and he were to be playing. Like I don't know how I'd feel about it, but maybe he would perform. But I don't know. I would take Marc-Andre Fleury over Carter Hart any day of the week.
Marc-Andre Fleury? Just
because I mean, he had that, not a very good start this year, but he's played okay. But he's just like
and he won the Vezina last year.
He's such a kind of a fun goalie to watch, like especially if he's playing for his country, like it'd be fun to watch.
No, I agree 100%. I could see Fleury being in that top 3 as well. Who are your 3?
It was Price, Fleury, Kemper.
I like that 3.
But also I would do Bennington over Fleury, but I would keep Kemper in there. Because Fleury, he's so like extravagant, you know what I mean? Like his personality and the way he sometimes makes saves, but sometimes you want a guy like that.
Yeah.
And like I kind of want a guy like that on the Canadian team because he's just like I feel like he's such a good dressing room guy too, and like I don't know, he's a good guy to have on your team.
Keeps things light, but
yeah,
these are some unbelievable teams, and I'm so excited for the Olympics.
These are some once in a lifetime teams right here, man.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. But is there anything else you want to touch on for Olympics, or do you want to start wrapping up this show?
We can start wrapping up. I just think it's getting me excited for watching the Olympics, man. Like,
it's going to be one of the better ones, I think.
Yeah, I think 2010 was so good too, though. Like all those older guys on that team, like.
But you just look now, like we haven't seen McDavid in a Team Canada jersey for the Olympics yet, and
neither are we seeing Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah,
like these guys are going to be like.
This is going to be an unbelievable team.
Cale Makar. Oh, another defenseman I actually had in mind. Very hot take, but he's from SD, played in DHA. Bowen Byram.
Yeah,
he's played pretty good this year, and he's on the Avalanche. He's on the Avalanche. He could pair with Cale Makar maybe if they wanted to go that kind of route, but there are some better defensemen to choose from. But he is.
I just don't think he's ready yet.
He's young. He's young. Like how many years ago? Like 2 years ago, he's playing double IHF for Team Canada, like in the juniors. Yeah. So like that's like a huge jump 2 years later to play for Team Canada. But he is playing at he's a very good defenseman. Yeah. Smaller, but he's very good.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
Just another hot take. I love taking those hot takes, man.
Yeah.
You because like stuff happens throughout the season. Some guys start underperforming, some guys get hurt, and someone's got to step up. And that's just how good players are made, honestly, too. So
100%. No doubt. All right. So this episode, we're starting a new segment here. Gonna do it at the end of each episode. On this day in sports history. So November 22nd, we're recording. I got 3 things that have happened. So 57, Mickey Mantle wins the AL MVP for the second time in his career, New York Yankee. In 1956, the Summer Olympics open in Melbourne, Australia. It was the first time to be held outside of North America and Europe.
I was going to say, though, Summer Olympics in November. because Australia's summer's in this time, right?
Yeah,
That's so weird, man. Like,
I know, right?
what the heck? I was like, Summer Olympics in November. Wow, that the only place it could be, right? The
Yeah,
only place it could be.
exactly. And last thing, 1965, Ali TKO's Floyd Patterson after 12 rounds
Goat.
to defend his title.
Goat.
Absolute goat. He's the goat.
TKOs in the 12th round.
Yeah,
Those are the kind of fights you want to watch.
on 100%.
Because you get what you are watching. You get the full
Yeah.
12 rounds and you get a knockout. And that's
Exactly.
that's the way Ali did it, man.
100%. Emile, this is a hell of an episode. This is super fun.
It's been super fun, man.
Where can the people find you? Social media?
You can
anything
find me
you're working
on. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Emile _ Tracy for Instagram, Twitter, Emile Tracy _ LinkedIn if you want as well, just Emile Tracy. And yeah, you can find me on there. I tweet almost every day about, NBA, NHL. Those are kind of my go-tos. And yeah, it was great being on here, man. It's been a hell of a time.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. It was heavy Canucks in Montreal episode, but we needed our therapy session for this fucking team this year. So
this was a therapy session for the Canucks.
Yeah. It was. We let it all out, but the Olympic roster update, like that was a fun segment we did. So
dude, that's just lighthearted, like I can't wait. It's just I cannot wait for the Olympics. I just hope everything goes smoothly because you never know, especially with COVID nowadays, man. Like I just don't want anything to happen that can sabotage any of the NHL guys playing in the Olympics because that's how it already happened once. Don't want it to happen again.
100%. But you guys know where to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, but once again, on Instagram at Jevin.Lefave, on Twitter at JevinLefave, left side heavy _ You can find that on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. YouTube channel, Left Side Heavy. Subscribe, ring the bell, like the videos, comment, be interactive. I'll be interactive as well. And be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps grow the show. And as for that, episode 69, that's a wrap. We'll see you next time.
I just gotta let go. Went from ducking and fucking and now I got put in the friend zone. There's no need for discussion.